Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we're going to play Roll for Adventure. It is published by Cosmos and designed by Matthew Dunstan and Brett Gilbert. This is a family-style fantasy adventure game that my son and I have been loving. I got this at Gen Con. I highly recommend it for anyone that has kids ages 6 or older. My son is just about 6, and when we play this, I don't even have to give him any suggestions. He knows exactly what he can do, and he makes great decisions. It's really fun to see. So I wanted to show you guys this, so if you see it and you want to pick it up, you can do that. The game plays between 2 to 4 players, but of course I'm going to be playing solo. I am actually going to be playing solo with 4 characters because I just think it's the most challenging that way, and I can show you how the whole game works. In this video, we will do our setup, and in the next videos, we will do our playthrough. So let's go ahead and set up. The board in this game is made up of 4 territories. We have the desert, the forest, the fortress here, and the ice caves. Each one of these is double-sided with an A and a B side. Generally speaking, the A side is easier, the B side is harder. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be playing with the forest and the fortress on the B side, and the desert and the ice caves on the A side. The goal in this game is simple. We are trying to collect a certain amount of gems, and if we collect those gems before one of our territories gets totally destroyed, we win the game. So here is our fortress location. If ever this skull gets to this spot, we lose the game. Okay? Now, what we're trying to do is collect these gems. How we do that is during our turns, we can be placing dice on these locations. So, for an example, if we get 3 4s in this location, we'll take these 4s off, and then we can remove this token here. Then we'll do that again, and then we can remove this token here. Then we'll need 5 4s. If we get 5 4s, then we get this gem. And then we can put these back, and we can keep doing that over and over again. So you have to do this 3 different times. Think of them as subtasks. So we'll have to do 3 subtasks to get our gem. The deep forest, what we can do is we can place 6s here and 5s on this side. And then if we have 6s or 5s, depending upon what we have, we can place 6s on this side over here. And then if we get a 5, we can place a 5 on this side. And we'll keep going until we have filled out each spot. Now, we look to see where the 6s and the 5s change, and there is a number that's there, and we use this to denote where it is. So this shows number 4. We have to give up a die that has the number 4 on it. While this is full, then we can collect a gem. And then we get all these dice back, and we can try and do that again. Here we have the desert. This is my favorite because it's great for ones. So you have to roll or place 3 1s here. After you do that, you can move 1 into this spot, and these 2 go back to their owners. Then we have to do that a second time. We'll place 3 1s, and then once we do that, we can place a second one, and we'll do that a third time, and we'll place 1 die here. Once this is full, we'll take one of these dice, and they're lost forever. They've been swallowed by the desert, but we then can collect a gem. And we can do that multiple times, but every time we do it, we do lose a die for the rest of the game. So far, all the locations that we have seen have provided us ways to collect the gems. But there is the ice caves, which we can use to actually gain different benefits. So the first thing that you'll do is you'll set up your 4 gray dice here. And then while you're rolling and placing dice, if ever there are 4 dice on here, and they can be anywhere on this, so we could have 1, 2, 5, and 6, for an example, and we decide to activate the ice cave, every player that has a die on here will gain 1 of these dice. So we've got 1, 2, 3 different colors here. So 3 of these dice would go out to players, and they can use them for their next turn. Now, if we had gotten 4 dice, or 5 dice on here, we could get this ability, plus we could defeat any enemy. And if we are super duper duper lucky and we're able to get 6 on here, which doesn't happen often, we can do these 2 things as well, but we can also reset one of the territories all the way back to 0 damage. Because remember, if this ever gets all the way up to here on any of the 4 territories, we lose. Here are all of our 4 locations put together, and during the game we'll be placing dice in all these different locations together. We'll be working as a team to try and complete these tasks and obtain the gems before any of these locations gets totally destroyed. Next, you'll want to determine the amount of gems that you will want to collect as a team. We're doing the most challenging, or the most amount of crystals. That's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But you could do the Crown of Kings, which is 7, the Sword of Saints, which is 6, or the Book of Magic, which is 5. All dependent upon the type of players and how long you want the game to be. Since I want to show you everything, I'm going to do a little bit longer of a game, just because I enjoy it. Depending upon that length, you'll put that amount of gems into the chest here, and when we collect them, we will place them on here and start building out our Jewel of Light. Next, you can pick out your characters. Now, like I said, I'm going to play 4 characters. There are a total of 10 that are in the game. They're all very different and provide you with different special abilities. I'm going to pick these top 4, so let's look at those quickly. Our first hero is the Thief. If you have completed a task or subtask in a territory, you may take back up to 2 of your own dice that you used and roll them again. And you can do that once per turn. So we're going to have our Thief be yellow. So we'll grab 5 yellow dice. Our next hero will be the Avenger. This is one of my favorites. Once per turn, if you defeat an enemy, you may move all of the dice used to defeat that enemy onto 1 or more territories. You'll understand how that works when we do the playthrough, but we'll grab 5 dice for the Avenger. Next, we have the Warrior. You may place 2 or more dice with 2 different values on 1 territory, 1 enemy, or the Vortex of Resurrection. If you place more than 2 dice, you must still only use 2 values. I will explain how all of that works during the playthrough, but just know that that's an awesome ability. Can only do it 1 time, but I like it. Last but not least, we'll just play with the Protector. Nice and simple. You may free 1 die of another player's from the Vortex of Oblivion. Sometimes our dice will be stolen by the enemies. She can get it back for us, which is great. And she will be blue. So far, we've seen a lot of good things. Now it's time to see the bad guys. So here we have our enemies. These are the basic enemy cards. There are level 1s, 2s, and 3s. We also have 3 types of specialty enemy cards. There are phantoms, then there are giants, which are right here, and then there are dragons, which is somewhere on the bottom here. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with phantoms and giants. Oh, the giants are hard. Maybe, you know what? Let's do phantoms and dragons. Just because with the giants it can get pretty challenging. So we'll do phantoms and dragons. So because of that, I'll grab those sets of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll leave the giants out because they're insane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got our dragons. So that will be our enemy deck. We also have the Master of Shadows. So what we need to do is we need to shuffle the Master of Shadows into the middle of this deck. So what we'll do is we'll break this deck out into 3 even piles. I've shuffled up all the enemies, so those phantoms and the dragons are randomly within these 3 piles. And then I will put the Master of Shadows, who's kind of like the boss, and I will put him in the middle pile, shuffle that middle pile up, and then simply just place it on top of this pile and this pile on top of that one. And that will be our enemy deck. Our enemy deck will be placed right here. Perfect. The final pieces for setting up the game are grabbing the Master of Shadows card, tells you what to do when he appears, an explanation of the turn in case you need that, and there's 4 of those, and this is the Vortex of Resurrection. This is how we get our dice back from the Vortex of Oblivion. And finally, we do have our territory die, which the Master of Shadows and Phantoms will use. I am realizing I did not tell you about the Vortex of Oblivion. That is right here. When our dice are taken by the enemies, they'll be placed in here, and the only way we can get them back is using the Vortex of Resurrection. With that, I think we're all set. I hope you guys are excited. This game is so much fun. I can't wait to show you. I will see you guys in the playthrough. Catch you at the next stop.